You pause for a moment, wondering why this message found its way to you today. Out of all the voices competing for your attention, something within your heart urged you to stop and listen. That quiet feeling is not an accident. Sometimes life becomes so loud that you forget how gently hope speaks. Yet hope has a way of finding you when you need it most. If your heart has been carrying questions about love, your future, and whether the promises you've prayed for will ever become reality, let this be a reminder that God sees every tear, every prayer whispered in the middle of the night, and every moment you chose to keep believing when nothing around you seemed to change. There have been seasons when you questioned whether anyone would truly understand your heart. You smiled in front of people while silently asking God if your story would ever include the kind of love that reflects His goodness. You watched others celebrate engagements, weddings, and growing families while quietly wondering if your own chapter had somehow been forgotten. But heaven does not measure your life against someone else's timeline. God's plans unfold with wisdom that reaches far beyond what your eyes can see. What feels like waiting to you is often preparation in His hands. Love that is built to last requires more than emotion. It requires character, patience, healing, forgiveness, and trust. Before two lives can be joined together in a lasting covenant, God often works within each heart individually. He shapes desires, removes unhealthy patterns, strengthens faith, and teaches lessons that will one day become the foundation of a healthy marriage. Looking back, you may even recognize moments that felt like disappointments but were actually acts of protection. Doors closed because they were never meant to become your home. Relationships ended because they could not carry the future God desired for you. Although those moments hurt, they were not evidence that God had abandoned you. They were reminders that He loved you enough not to allow you to settle for less than His best. Perhaps you have wondered whether your prayers have reached heaven at all. Every prayer has been heard. Every hope has been noticed. Every longing has been seen by the One who formed your heart before anyone else ever knew your name. Even when answers seem delayed, God is never absent. His silence is not rejection. Often, it is an invitation to trust Him more deeply than your circumstances. The image of a wedding ring represents more than romance. It symbolizes commitment, faithfulness, and a promise to remain through every season. These qualities reflect God's own heart. Before He prepares you for a lifelong relationship with another person, He reminds you that His commitment to you has never changed. His love has remained steady through every success and every failure. He has been present during celebrations and disappointments alike. That faithful love becomes the model for every healthy relationship He desires you to experience. You may not know every detail about your future, and you do not need to. What matters today is continuing to grow into the person God created you to be. Continue choosing kindness even when others are harsh. Continue choosing integrity when shortcuts appear easier. Continue believing that your worth is not determined by your relationship status but by the God who created you in His image. When your identity is rooted in Him, you no longer chase love out of fear. Instead, you receive love with wisdom, confidence, and gratitude. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not simply meeting the right person. It is becoming the person who can recognize healthy love, receive it without fear, and nurture it with grace. God often prepares both people long before they ever meet. While you cannot see every part of that preparation, you can trust that your life is still moving according to His purpose. So today, instead of focusing on uncertainty, choose hope. Instead of allowing past disappointments to define tomorrow, allow God's faithfulness in yesterday to strengthen your faith for what lies ahead. Whether your future includes marriage soon, later, or unfolds differently than you currently imagine, you can rest in this truth: your life is valuable, your story has purpose, and God's love for you remains constant. The best chapters of your journey are not built on fear or speculation but on faith, wisdom, and the assurance that He is with you every step of the way. Your heart has survived moments that many people never knew about. There were nights when you quietly asked God to take away the loneliness, mornings when you forced yourself to smile even though your spirit felt heavy, and days when you questioned whether anyone would ever truly see you for who you are. Yet through every season, God continued to shape a story that was bigger than the pain you could see. What seemed like delay was often His loving protection. What felt like silence was often Him building a stronger foundation beneath your feet. There is a difference between waiting without hope and waiting with faith. Waiting without hope slowly drains the heart, but waiting with faith changes the heart. It teaches patience, humility, wisdom, and trust. Every season you have walked through has added something valuable to your life. The disappointments taught discernment. The setbacks taught resilience. The unanswered prayers taught dependence on God. Even the moments you wish you could erase have become part of the testimony that proves God's grace is greater than your past. Sometimes you look back and realize that the relationships you once begged God to restore would never have brought you lasting peace. You now see conversations that revealed warning signs you ignored. Situations where your heart wanted something your spirit quietly questioned, and opportunities that disappeared before they could become lifelong burdens. It may not have felt like protection then, but wisdom often becomes clearer with time. God was not removing joy from your life. He was preserving your future. The future you hope for should never become an idol that steals your peace today. Marriage is a beautiful gift, but it cannot replace the peace that comes from knowing God. A loving spouse can encourage you, but only God can satisfy the deepest needs of your soul. When your identity rests securely in Him, every blessing becomes something you receive with gratitude rather than something you desperately chase. Perhaps you have wondered what kind of person will one day walk beside you. While no one can truthfully tell you exactly who that person will be or when you will meet them, you can pray for qualities that truly matter. Pray for someone who values honesty over appearance, faithfulness over convenience, kindness over pride, forgiveness over resentment, and humility over selfish ambition. Pray that both of you continue growing in wisdom so that, if your paths do cross, your relationship reflects love that is patient, respectful, and enduring. At the same time, ask God to cultivate those same qualities within you. The healthiest relationships are not built on perfection but on two imperfect people who are committed to growing, communicating honestly, and extending grace to one another. Love flourishes where trust is nurtured, where respect is mutual, and where forgiveness is practiced. There may still be days when uncertainty tries to whisper that your best opportunities have already passed. When those thoughts arise, remember that God is not limited by timelines that people create. Throughout Scripture, many significant moments happened after long periods of waiting. Their stories remind us that God's timing often differs from human expectations, yet His faithfulness remains constant, so continue walking forward with confidence. Continue investing in your relationship with God, your character, your friendships, your family, and the purpose He has placed before you today. Do not postpone living while waiting for tomorrow. Every day has meaning. Every act of kindness matters. Every prayer shapes your heart. Every step of faith prepares you for whatever God has planned. As you move forward, let your hope be anchored not in dramatic predictions or guarantees about the future, but in the unchanging character of God. He knows your desires. He understands your questions. He walks with you through every season. Whether your path leads to marriage sooner than you expect or later than you imagined, His promise to be with you does not change. The story of your life is still unfolding. Keep your eyes on God. Keep your heart open to His guidance, and keep trusting that He is writing a story marked by grace, purpose, and hope, one page at a time. The journey ahead may not always be easy to understand, but it is never outside God's care. Every season has a purpose, even when that purpose is hidden from view. There will be moments when your faith feels strong and moments when it feels fragile. There will be days when hope comes naturally and days when you must choose it intentionally. Through all of those moments, God's character remains the same. He is faithful whether your circumstances change quickly or slowly. Think about how a skilled builder prepares the foundation of a house. Much of the work happens below the surface where no one can admire it. Yet those hidden parts determine whether the house can stand through storms. In the same way, God often does His deepest work in the quiet places of your life. He develops integrity when no one is watching. He teaches forgiveness when holding on to resentment feels easier. He grows compassion through challenges that stretch your heart. Those hidden seasons are never wasted. You may feel pressure from the world to measure your worth by milestones, whether you are married, how successful you appear, or how your life compares with someone else's. But God's view of you has never depended on those things. Your value comes from being created in His image and loved by Him. That truth does not change with your relationship status. Your achievements, or the opinions of others. As you continue praying about your future, remember that wisdom is just as important as hope. Pray not only for open doors, but also for discernment. Pray for the courage to walk away from relationships that lack respect, honesty, or kindness. Pray for the humility to grow where growth is needed in your own heart. Healthy love is not built on perfect circumstances but on daily choices to honor, listen, serve, and forgive. There is beauty in expecting good things while holding your plans with open hands. Faith is not demanding that life unfold according to your schedule. Faith is trusting that God is present even when the path looks different from what you imagined. Sometimes the greatest blessing comes in a form you never anticipated. Sometimes the lesson you need today becomes the strength you rely on tomorrow, so let your heart remain open, but let it also remain anchored. Celebrate each step of growth. Invest in meaningful friendships. Care for your family. Pursue the gifts and opportunities God has placed before you. Live fully in the present instead of postponing joy until a future milestone arrives. The life God has given you today is already filled with opportunities to reflect His love and experience His grace. One day, when you look back, you may see connections you cannot see now. You may recognize how moments of waiting prepared you for moments of gratitude. You may understand why certain doors closed and why others opened at just the right time. Until then, keep walking faithfully, trusting that God is guiding your steps with wisdom beyond your own understanding. Whatever tomorrow brings, you do not face it alone. God's presence goes before you, walks beside you, and remains with you through every chapter. Let that assurance give you peace today and confidence for the days ahead. Your story is still being written, and the author is both wise and faithful. As the days unfold, you may notice small reminders that encourage your faith, a timely conversation, an unexpected act of kindness, a verse that speaks directly to your heart, or a moment of peace that arrives when you need it most. These moments do not necessarily predict the future, but they can remind you that God is present with you in the present. He often strengthens us one step at a time rather than revealing every detail of the road ahead. There is a quiet strength that develops when you stop asking, "Why is my life different from everyone else's?" and begin asking, "God, what are you teaching me in this season?" That shift changes everything. Instead of allowing comparison to steal your joy, you begin to recognize that your journey is uniquely yours. The lessons, opportunities, and relationships God uses to shape your character are part of a story that no one else can live. Do not underestimate the importance of becoming the kind of person who brings peace wherever you go. A lasting relationship is strengthened not only by affection but by patience during disagreements, honesty during difficult conversations, generosity in everyday moments, and faithfulness through changing seasons. These qualities are cultivated long before a wedding day. They grow through daily choices, ordinary acts of love, and a willingness to keep learning. If you sometimes feel discouraged because your hopes have not unfolded as quickly as you expected, remember that growth is often gradual. A tree does not bear fruit the day it is planted. It develops roots first. Those unseen roots allow it to withstand storms and continue growing over time. In much the same way, the work God is doing within you may be invisible now. Yet it can become the very strength that sustains you in the future. Keep bringing your desires to God honestly. He welcomes sincere prayers. At the same time, remain open to His wisdom. Sometimes His answer is, yes, sometimes it is, wait, and sometimes it is, I have something different in mind. Whatever the answer, His purpose is not to withhold good from you but to lead you in ways that ultimately reflect His goodness and love. As you continue forward, let gratitude become part of your daily rhythm. Thank God not only for the blessings you hope to receive but also for the ones you already have, your ability to grow, to love, to learn, to serve, and to experience His presence. Gratitude does not ignore life's challenges, it reminds us that hope can exist alongside them. The future remains unwritten from your perspective, but it is never beyond God's knowledge. Rather than trying to control every outcome, place your confidence in the One who walks with you through each new chapter. Continue seeking wisdom, showing kindness, and living with integrity. These are gifts that enrich your life regardless of what tomorrow holds. May your heart remain steady in hope, your mind rooted in truth, and your spirit encouraged by the confidence that God's love does not depend on changing circumstances. Whatever lies ahead, you can move forward with courage, trusting that each faithful step has meaning and that your life is held in the hands of a God who is both loving and wise. As you continue to move forward, remember that the greatest assurance you can carry is not the certainty of knowing every future event, but the confidence that God will be with you through every event that comes. His guidance is often gentle rather than dramatic. He invites you to seek Him daily, to grow in wisdom, and to trust that each step taken in faith matters, even when the destination is not yet visible. There may come a day when you look back on this season and realize that it shaped you in ways you could never have imagined. The patience you learned will help you navigate future challenges. The compassion you gained through your own struggles will enable you to comfort others. The resilience you developed while waiting will become a source of strength when life requires perseverance again. Nothing surrendered to God is ever wasted. If your heart still longs for a loving marriage, continue to pray for it with hope, but also pray that your future relationship, if it comes, would reflect the qualities that honor God: mutual respect, honesty, kindness, humility, forgiveness, and steadfast commitment. Those qualities matter far more than appearances or outward success, because they provide the foundation for a relationship that can endure through both joyful and difficult seasons. At the same time, allow yourself to embrace the life God has placed before you today. Invest in your friendships. Strengthen family relationships where possible. Develop your gifts. Serve others with generosity. Care for your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. A full and meaningful life is not something that begins only after reaching a particular milestone. It is something you can live faithfully each day, when doubts arise, and they will from time to time. Bring them honestly before God instead of allowing them to grow in silence. Faith is not pretending that questions do not exist. Faith is choosing to trust God's character even while those questions remain unanswered. He is patient with your fears and faithful through your uncertainties, so lift your eyes with hope. Not because anyone can promise exactly what tomorrow will bring, but because God's love and wisdom remain constant. Let that truth steady your heart. Walk into each new day with gratitude for the present, hope for the future, and confidence that the one who began a good work in you will continue to shape your life according to his perfect wisdom. Your story is still unfolding, and every page offers another opportunity to grow in faith, to extend kindness, and to discover the peace that comes from trusting God one step at a time. Whether the next chapter brings unexpected joy, a new opportunity, deeper friendships, or another season of waiting, you can face it with courage, knowing that His presence is your greatest source of strength. As the sun rises on another day, remember that every new morning is an invitation to trust God again. Yesterday may have held unanswered questions, but today holds fresh opportunities to walk in faith. God's mercy is renewed each day, reminding you that no mistake, disappointment, or delay has the power to separate you from His love. He continues to work patiently, shaping your heart and guiding your steps even when you cannot yet see the destination. There may be times when your prayers seem repetitive, as though you have spoken the same hopes to God countless times. Yet He never grows tired of hearing from you. Prayer is not about persuading Him to care, it is about drawing near to the one who already does. As you continue to bring your desires before Him, also make room to listen. Sometimes His guidance comes through Scripture, wise counsel, quiet conviction, or circumstances that gently redirect your path. It is easy to believe that happiness is waiting somewhere in the future, tied to a single event or milestone. But God invites you to experience His joy today. Joy is not the absence of challenges, it is the confidence that His presence remains with you through them. Even in seasons of uncertainty, you can find reasons to be thankful, moments to celebrate, and people to encourage. Living with gratitude does not ignore hardship, it declares that hardship does not have the final word. As you think about the future, hold your plans with hope and humility. Continue preparing your heart for healthy relationships by growing in patience, kindness, honesty, and forgiveness. These qualities bless every area of life, whether in family, friendships, work, or marriage. The more you become rooted in God's love, the more freely you are able to love others without fear or insecurity. You are not defined by the chapters that